Last weekend, I was running a AI hackathon and people wanting to use OCR. So from a picture that you would take with your phone, you would be then able to extract the text. I'm just going to take a picture, run once, and then suddenly we have the note text right there within seconds. From that, you can do a lot of different things, right? You can have your bills and then you can actually transfer them into text. You could also just take an entire book and just take that page. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use Google Cloud Vision to actually do that. Welcome to Build with Vince, where I help you to build product with AI without any code. We can use no-code apps to actually capture a photo, or we could also use a form. You don't have to create a whole app. You can actually use just a form where you can upload an image. Here's a very simple form that I've built on Airtable. The whole point is I'm gonna give it a name, test, and I can attach a file. So that file can be the same on the phone, can be either photo library or take a picture. Now I'm just gonna take a picture, that's it, uploading with the text. Now, once we've done that, the whole system of taking that picture is we are sending that picture directly to the cloud. We're taking that picture and sending it to Google Cloud Vision, where the whole model is actually going to take and extract the text and then turn it back to us. So to show that in a very simple way, we're going to use Airtable. Now we're in the Airtable page where I've uploaded the file, the database, right? So we had this form, but it was on mobile. And then I uploaded the picture. This is my test picture. It's a very horrible picture, but that was the point. Now, what we want to do is from this picture, we want to basically transform it. How do we do this? So to do this, to take the image and directly transform it, we're going to use make. What we're going to do is as simple as this, and we're going to say run once. It's going to run because we already have some data. And then suddenly, we actually have the note text right there within seconds. The output isn't perfect. The reason for the output not to be perfect is because the text from the start isn't perfect. So it's a very good example to show you that the output is as good as the picture itself as well. So it's something to consider. Another reason is, let's say you take a picture of a menu in a restaurant and you want to extract that. The format you're going to get from this output will need to be clean. So you can, again, on top of that, use natural language like ChatGPT to improve and try and understand what's going on. There's 3 nodes in Make. There's the first one here that what it's doing, it's watching for any new records that are coming into Airtable. Create an Airtable and say watch response. There's 2 different ones, watch records. So you could run this, let's say, every day, every five minutes. Or you could say, I want every time a response is submitted to do something. So then you create a webhook. We're going to say, NCF webhook. And here's my webhook to which I'm going to send that data. I'm going to copy this address of webhook, and I'm going to go back into Airtable. So this webhook, basically, we want it to be triggered directly into our form. So how do we do this is fairly simple. We can say redirect to, and then we want to redirect directly to this new URL we got. Well, one of the things we can say is say include record ID, right? So record ID equal, and then we're going to replace with record ID in here. This way as a placeholder. So now we're going to test it. So I'm going to open the form, and at the same time here I'm going to run once. So it's waiting now for the information to come through, and in here I'm going to say test, attach a file, and I'm just going to say web search, send any picture, submit. When we're submitting now, we're redirecting to that new webhook, and then suddenly we're getting the data with the record ID. This is not perfect, but it works. So this is just the easiest right now to do it. But you could also decide that you're just watching the records every 15 minutes. There's 2 different ways to make it, but it's more or less the same output. Now what we're receiving is the record ID. But what we would want as well is to actually send the data. okay? But from there, what we can do is say, okay, from the Airtable, I want to get a record for my image to vision, table 1, and the record ID will be the one I'm receiving through the webhook, okay? Once I'm receiving this record, I can run this, okay? So the output of this was this record. I'm going testing. There we go. Now we're getting the file back, right? Because it's actually getting the record. Now we're going to do the Google Cloud Vision. So as you can see, it has more than just a Google Cloud Vision, but here we're just going to use a Google Cloud Vision. And you can see it has all the different options that Google provide. Handwriting, labeling detection, text detection, localizer, etc. If you want to know more about these, you can go directly to Google. So if you go into Google Cloud Vision AI, they have the whole API and they explain how it works. We don't need to go that far here. Here we have Google Cloud Vision, and we're gonna go for the text detection. And one of the things here, there's two different things, data and URL. URL is what is the URL of your image. When we use data, it is more of the base64 approach. But for this use case, we basically have here as the output of the file an URL, okay? So because we have an URL, we can just use it as is. So I'm gonna map and I'm gonna say URL, and I'm gonna take the URL from the Airtable here. Okay. One of the things I didn't show you, because I already have the connection, is you need to create your own connection first. So what it's asking you is to find your API key. How do you find your API key? Well, you're gonna go, and I'm gonna provide you the link below, is you're gonna go to Google Cloud Services. One of the things you need to be aware of is you need to create an account with Google Cloud, you need to create your first product, all of that is available online. We're not gonna go through this here. However, we are gonna go through the idea that you need to go to API and services. In case you don't have the link, all you do is at the top, type API and services. That's it. That's the link here. So you click this and then you arrive to this page. Then you go to credentials. In credentials, what you want to create is an API key. It's creating my API key. And then this is exactly what you're using. So this exact API key, I'm going back and I'm gonna just paste it there. And that's it. You created your connection. You can now use this directly. Then what we want is we want to make sure that this is then updating the text within Airtable. So we go for Airtable and update a record. The record we're going to update is going to be the same as before. So we're going to say a record ID is the same as the ID we had just earlier. Now we're going to add into notes the results of the Cloud Vision, and which is going to be text. So this is basically the full text annotation, and that's the text that we got. So technically, if I were to run this name, all right, so the name test to attach, take a picture, use the photo. Then now I'm saying upload. We have the picture, submit. I'm gonna get redirected. I'm saying, okay, continue, up. And then now we're seeing the trigger right away. Everything is going through. And so if I'm going to my Airtable in the grid view, I should see here, stop, immediately the scenario run was completed, repairing scenario, etc., etc. Done.